Tech fans, welcome to Up with the White and Gold. He's GaTechJon Watts. I'm Jeremy the Impact York. We are both the smartest people in the room. First of all, I'm the only person in this room. Pretty sure he's the only person in that room. And we both picked Georgia Tech to
And
beat the
now,
Clemson Tigers last week. So, first off, how are you? And second off, how good does it feel that not only did Tech win, they won just like we said they would?
I guess it's cold in here. Um, I made that joke. Always nice to work, but yeah, it was pretty good. Yep. Uh, you know, Local high school won Friday night. Tech pulls off a win Saturday, so it's a pretty good weekend. So yeah, it was nice. That was one of those games where at the beginning of the season you're like, I don't know. But then, as the first two games played on, you're like, no, I think we could really do this.
Mm-hmm.
It was close, but in the end, someone kicks the one of the longest field goals that we've had ever. I think it's the longest game winning field goal in Georgia Tech history, um,
Gotta be.
and the school record. I think it tied the longest in general for the school. Um, So yeah, it was pretty good. I'd be able to beat a ranked team like that, and you know, Sunday came around, and now we're the ranked team.
Right? And also, just shout out to the state of Georgia that if you are a fan of practically any college or any professional football team in the state, they probably won their game either Saturday or Sunday. Literally every team won their game. It was one of the most incredible Georgia football days of all time. Like literally any team seemed to win, basically any of the major teams, will put it that way. And I'm not saying you're a minor team if you didn't win. I'm just saying that majority of the ones that people claim in this state had a great weekend.
Yeah, I'm even liking looking at West Georgia this year. The first time that they've ever been ranked as a D1 team. They've
Yeah,
been doing really well. So it's happy to see that and what they're doing over there. I say over there, it's like maybe like 5-10 minutes from my house. Um, 15 maybe. I don't really
we
have to
might even know a
pass
few
that
people
on the
on
way to.
campus,
We might. I think I know a few.
one or two maybe.
One. I think one's upstairs in my house. And one left. A different one left my house earlier.
Jake's
Um,
at your house?
and then and then, no. He's wherever he is. Who knows? But yeah,
Got a pretty good idea.
it was pretty good. Pretty good. Pretty good week. Yeah.
Yeah, let's jump into this game. It kind of this is what we've said about this Tech team is in the last couple of years, if you let them hang around, they just might beat you. And not only that, they went toe to toe with Clemson. It was pretty much back and forth the entire time. It wasn't Clemson just didn't put them away. It's like no, Clemson kind of had to keep fighting them off the entire time. I mean, the score just literally went back and forth. It was what 13-7 Tech at halftime. I mean, if you're the Tigers, you're starting to kind of look around like, all right, we just play a better second half and we should get back in this. And then they didn't play a better second half. And uh, I really thought this was potentially going to go for a long time because UGA liked to play overtime games. Kind of thought maybe Tech was going to go into super overtime, and then Aiden Burr, as you said, just lines it up and says, "I'm calling game because Varsity's got happy hour. They got 2-for-1 chili dogs, and I'd like to have one." So he puts one through the upright. Still don't know why the Varsity won't sponsor this show, but we're easy to find. And outside of the big kick, what did you see from this Tech team that you really liked?
I know, like I said, starting out, it's kind of slow start. First quarter, it's first quarter ends 3-0, and like okay, well, it's gonna be maybe it's a close game. And then now we start getting the Haynes guys working, and Jamal Haynes gets a touchdown. We're up 10-0. Pretty early in the second quarter, and you're like, okay, this is starting to look really, really good. Halfway through the second quarter, get a field goal. You're like, okay, now we're up 13-0. Okay, this is looking real good. And then as the second, as getting down to the end of the half, Clemson's like, okay, it's time to wake up. Let's play a little bit. So they finished out that first half with that touchdown, 13-7. And then second half comes around and they score again, and now they have the lead, 14-13. And you're like, okay, is this about what happened? Is Clemson about to just come back and take this? We're about to let them have it. And a few minutes in, we get another touchdown. Okay, we got the lead back. And then we start getting down toward the end, and they tie it up with like 3.5 left to go. Okay. Now we're gonna make this. They're making this difficult. They're keeping it very close. What can we do? And then you get all the way down. You're like, okay, we're setting this up. We can set this up. You're like, okay, now we set it up for a 55. Now it's a pretty long field goal. I mean, we would like to have been a little closer, but it happens. And he pulls it off as the time expires. You know,
Yep.
crowd goes wild, literally as they storm the
Me.
field.
Okay. Yeah. I told you guys I had the chance to be there. I would have sat over here in this corner a couple rows up because there's the scoreboard. Yeah. Yeah. That's where my seat would have been. It's where the mascot
Ooh.
comes up and down. And
Yeah,
yes, I was a
yeah, that
little
was.
bummed because this would have been an incredible game. I would have got to storm a field. It's been quite a few years since I have gotten to storm a field. I will not tell you when I did or did not do that for litigation purposes. But let's see, just for the simple fact that I can do this. Yeah, he kicked that ball from like out here somewhere that way.
Yep, yep.
Can't remember which one he kicked, but he kicked from a long way off, all the way up through there. That's that's the magic of
Mm.
television, folks. Um, I
Yeah,
do, I like when Tech storms the field because it reminds me of like the movie Little Giant, when the good team wins, and they always say act like you've been there before, but they've never been there. These kinds of things don't happen at Tech, not because they're not good, but they're on one side or the other of a blowout usually. It hardly ever comes down to the last possession like this. So, um, kind of act like a civilized person, but kind of let it go, Tech fans. You don't get many of these moments. You're going to see a lot more in your future. But I like that they did it pretty well. They tore down the goalpost. Um, Somebody asked me the question: when's the last time they tore down the goalpost, or when's the last time the goalpost got tore down at Tech? And I said it was probably one of the tornadoes or storms that come through the area. I don't remember the last time actual people did it. So I mean, good thing is they're not close enough to a body of water to throw it in there. So they probably recovered it later that day.
Now, unfortunately, there is a body of water that's close by. It's
Oh.
known as the President's Pool.
Is that where they
They
put it?
took it out of the stadium and put it. Yeah, they took it out of the stadium, up the stairs, out the stadium, down the road, and put it in the President's Pool.
Okay, well that's not bad though. They could have put it in the Chattahoochee. They could have put it in Lake Altoona. There's a lot of crazy places. They could have put it in that body of water behind you. I don't put it past a Tech person to figure out how to do that. So
Put it out
at
on
least
Grady
they
Curve.
put it in a fun place. I mean, the only thing it delayed in putting it there was what the our Tech's in the water polo semifinals. So I mean, they just had to get the horses out so they could get the goalposts out, and then play could resume. So it was fine, right?
Yeah, and we couldn't. And apparently, they had a hard time engineering a way to get it up the stairs and out the stadium. It took a little while to figure that out because the
It is an old
spaces that they were trying
stadium.
to put it through. Yeah, the stairwell was a little smaller than the goalpost, so they're like having to like take it up there, turn it, put it basically halfway back out in the open, and then bring it in. And so it's a hilarious video to watch. But yeah, I mean they eventually figured it out.
You guys should really I should win a daytime Emmy award right now for trying to keep this PG based off what he just said. But
Yeah,
uh
yeah.
geometry lesson notwithstanding, a little bit of science in there too. Um Thank goodness Haynes King played. I don't know what it would have looked like if Aaron Philo, whatever he wants to go by, would have been in there. It would have been a slightly different game. Not saying they couldn't have won without him. I made a case for both last week, depending on who was going to play. But uh, Haynes King ran for 103 by himself. Past that, they didn't get a lot going. But if you watch the game, Clemson just left all the gaps open for King to pick up all those yards. Some of them were designed, some of them weren't. They decided we're going to cover everybody. He's going to have to beat us, and then he did. He did that. They didn't get any sacks. I'm not that worried about it because they did keep the Clemson quarterback, whose name escapes me, Cade Klubnik. I said he's not
Yep.
much of a runner. They did force him to run 62 yards, which is probably his high game. But Cade's not known to scramble and run around so much. They forced him to constantly be throwing on the run, and I think that's what helped keep the numbers down.
Yeah, definitely. Because I mean, looking at overall, they had more. They had more yards overall. They had
Mm-hmm.
um, more rushing yards. We barely had them in passing yards. So I mean, looking at certain stats, I mean, it's favored them.
Yeah,
It seems. I mean, and you never know. Like it's weird looking. If you look at stats, and then you're like, okay, on paper, okay, they should have won. But it's the little things here and there you figure out, and you're like, okay, well, they didn't because make certain plays, and like I said, just leaving those little gaps open and making it work.
and call it unofficial because there's no way to prove this nowadays anyway. 48,059 fans packed this out. That's that's about as full as Bobby Dodd has been since probably the early United days. Is probably the last time they saw a number like that in that stadium. Uh, that that's a big time number. That shows you that people believe in tech. That shows you that Clemson fans travel, which they very much do, and they not only travel but they're all over anyway. So there's a lot of Clemson fans in Atlanta. Uh, Spectacular though, and to me, Clemson was one of the big roadblocks or one of the big speed bumps they could have. If they could at least show they can hang with Clemson, I thought they had a chance this year. I would argue that Clemson might be the biggest test of the year for Georgia Tech. And as long as they stay on the path they're on, they might win the whole conference. There's not really that many teams in their way after this.
Yeah, definitely not in ACC. I mean, I think it's fairly smooth through there. You're talking about. I just want to add in on there. You're talking about the number of people who packed the place. Don't talk about the people who watch from home. Um, 4.8 million people tuned into this game. It's the largest audience for any Saturday game on ESPN this season, as well as the
Wow.
most watched Saturday afternoon regular season game since 2016, excluding week zero. Um,
Well,
but
I said on Hunker Down with Jake earlier this week. I said two of the best, if not the two best college games this weekend were Tech and Georgia. They were by far the best games to watch. They had the most excitement. They were up and down. Both favorites had a chance to lose the game. The only difference was is one favorite won and one underdog did.
yeah, and definitely. There was another stat about how we have the most wins as the underdog. Um, I heard it the other day, but it's good. It's good to get that win. I think. I mean, we'll definitely still look at week to week who we're playing. But I mean, for an ACC opponent that we have on the schedule, I think that was definitely the big hump to get past. We'll still need to make sure we continue playing that week,
Mm-hmm.
week after week. But because we'll still have Syracuse and Pitt we've had problems with in the past. It'll definitely be interesting when it comes down to it. Well, luckily we don't play Miami or FSU this year, so that's not something we'll have to look at in the regular schedule. But come probably maybe ACC championship if we can continue on.
I was about
And
to say
always,
I would venture to guess that we're gonna right now. Man, if this was a state that you could bet you could put some ducats down, I would say that the ACC title might between Georgia Tech and the U. That's probably the two best teams in the ACC this year. There's some that could sneak up there. You said Syracuse and you said Pitt. I I'd kind of at least underline, maybe not circle, but I'd underline Duke. They can always be a weird matchup for Tech. They've kind of gotten an upper hand,
Yep.
but yeah, just for the sake of time, uh, they host Temple this week. Temple's 2-1. They're
Yep.
no slouches. That is a CW Network game. Which before we came on here, I was watching the CW Network. I enjoy a lot of their programming actually. Uh, CW Network at 4:30. I'm not gonna be doing it for. I may actually be able to watch this game because my entire day is going to be planned around two events that are about 2 miles from my house. Who did Temple play?
I'll be up early taking people to the airport. So
Mm.
yeah, I should be able to watch
It's just
this
random people too.
for
He doesn't even
once.
know these
And
people. He takes random people to the some people go to homeless shelters, some people go to retirement homes. John just likes to take random people to the airport on the weekends. It's a noble thing he does.
yeah, I won't be able to watch the next week after that because I'll be doing busy the next two Saturdays all day long. So it'll be good to be able to catch this one. Like you said, it's at home at Temple, a 4:30 game. I think that's definitely be a good game.
I think it's going to be a runaway by Tech because I'm looking at what Temple's done this year. They blew out UMass. They blew out Howard, which is kind of unfair that an entire building like Temple would have to play against one guy named Howard. I mean, no wonder they won. But
All
then
right.
Oklahoma smoked them like a Christmas turkey. So um,
Yeah.
from what Oklahoma did to my Wolverines, yeah, I think Georgia Tech may win by 14 points or so,
Yeah.
maybe more.
Unfortunately, I was watching some ESPN production, and one of the guys was like, "Why did they allow Oklahoma to go down to Temple? Who put that on the schedule?" And I was just like,
Temple did.
"No, yeah, that's how that works."
Where's Temple
Yeah.
anyway?
Oh, let's see. That's a good question.
Temple
Feel like
is.
somewhere in the Midwest
Oh,
there.
they went. God, they went to Temple.
Yeah.
Jeez. Temple is. Oh, they play. Wow. They played
Philly.
that game at Lincoln Financial Field. We're the home of the Eagles.
Oh yeah, they're in Philadelphia. Yeah.
Oh my goodness, man,
I was not thinking it was in
what a
Philadelphia. I was
trip!
thinking
Some of
more.
some of those Sooners will be playing there on Sunday. All right, quick synopsis for Georgia Tech hosting Temple.
Like I said, I think it'll be a pretty. I won't say a runaway. It won't be like a Carrollton versus Lithia Springs 63 to nothing kind of game. But I definitely think we'll have it in hand by a couple touchdowns. So something like what 34-21 kind of thing.
Writing that down. I think it's a little more lopsided than that. I like the 34 number, but I will say I'm gonna add more to what I was gonna say. I'm gonna say 31-10 Tech in that one. I think they're gonna really smoke them pretty well. I'm gonna actually move it up to 3 scores. Do we have time? We have time. Let's pick some ACC matchups. What have we got going on in the ACC this week? Um, you know what? Right there, another Battle of the Orange. How about 12 o'clock noon? Syracuse at 2-1 against Clemson at 1-2. That's a noon kickoff in Clemson. But who you got in that one?
I'm gonna go Clemson. I think they're gonna be a little mad about this, what we did to them. So they got a home game against Syracuse. Syracuse is having a little trouble. I mean, against Tennessee, I think Clemson maybe comes takes this one and gets back to 500.
I would love to see that, but I'm gonna ride the hot hand, and I'm gonna say that Clemson is so spurred by this that they're gonna falter at home, and their crowd's gonna let them know it. I think the Syracuse Orange are gonna maybe win this on a last minute score, just like Tech did, and everybody's gonna start asking um, about Dabo Sweeney, which is unfair because he's probably a top five coach, but he can't figure out the transfer portal. Any other games jump out to you as I am scrolling the same as you are? Ooh,
I mean, I think we only have two more that are ACC, which is
it has to be. As long as there's an
at Duke and
ACC
NC
in it,
State. I mean, well, there's other ones that I mean I don't really want to care. I mean, Virginia Tech's against Wofford or Florida State versus Kent State, and I don't think it's really going to be a whole lot of good time there. But I mean, got Duke and NC State, so we got a in-state game in Durham,
yeah.
and then later we got a Virginia Stanford game in Virginia. So those are the only two that are seen. But Miami, Florida, in basically in Miami. So I mean, depending on what Florida team wants to show up on that one.
Well, I
But
think I said on the on the Hunker Down show, I think we talked about that one, and I said Miami is going to completely roll Florida, and Miami is the best college team, might be the best pro team, best college team in Florida, and USF is number two.
that's fair. Um,
But
I'm wondering. I mean, what
pick
Florida?
one. What games you like?
Uh, I'll say I'll stick to those two. At least those two ACC ones. I'll take Duke at home against NC State.
On the contrary, I will take NC State just for the sake of argument because they are 3-0, and that's a 4 o'clock game. And I'm not sure if the Dukies are not already close to bedtime around then.
Like
And then
probably
what was the other one? The Virginia Tech.
Virginia Stanford. Yeah, Virginia Stanford at 7:30
Yeah,
in Charlottesville. I'm going to take Stanford on this one, just because I haven't really seen Virginia do a whole lot.
which is hilarious because I was going to take Virginia at home. So we completely disagree on all three games, which is, if you guys only knew the anomaly that is, that doesn't happen hardly ever. We could probably count on one hand probably the amount of times that has happened. Uh, but to recap, you have Clemson, I have Syracuse, I have NC State, you have Duke, and you have Stanford, and I have Virginia, and you have Tech winning 34-21. I have them winning, let's say 31-10. Make that
Yeah,
37-10. We'll make it 37-10. I think they're look up the definition of mollywop, and that's what's going to happen to Temple this weekend.
at 2:22
Any
to
parting
nothing.
words before we get out of here?
I'll say I think it'll be a good weekend. I'm looking for a local team to be 6-0 after Friday night at home. Should be a big crowd. We're doing an eighth grade night, so we'll have a band about 280 members taking the field. So it should be interesting. Good thing it's at home.